The Buffalo Bills are headed down to Texas, to Houston, Texas, to take on the Texans on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Now, I think this is a big enough game between two really good teams that it should really be a primetime game, but for some reason it's not. And it really should be. Both of these teams are very good. I think they both come in 3-1. The Texans, I think the trade with Cleveland a couple of years back really helped make them a strong franchise, and they took advantage of the picks that they got in that trade and really made themselves good again. So, what are the keys to this game? The biggest key to this game is the injury situation. The Bills have a lot of injuries. Now, we've been struggling without Milano, Bernard, and Johnson. Milano won't be back for a while. But Bernard and Johnson practiced this week, but they practiced with red jerseys on, and, we're not sure if they're going to be able to play. That leaves big holes on the defensive side of the field. Now, speaking about a big hole on the defensive side of the field, Ed Oliver all of a sudden has an injury. I think he hurt his hamstring at practice on Thursday. That is our guy up the middle. And without Ed, it's going to be hard to stop the Texans offense. And then over on the offensive side of the ball, the guy that's really shined so far this year is our best wide receiver, Khalil Shakir. Hurt his ankle in the last game. He played through it, but this week he wasn't able to practice all week, and he is not going to be able to play in the game either. So we lose something on the offensive side of the ball. Really the first thing that we've lost, all year, knock on wood. So hopefully Shakir's ankle is just a 1 week thing. Hopefully he can be back soon. But the injuries aren't just on the Bills' side of the ball, although the Texans are going to be able to take advantage of a lot of those injuries. The next guy to step up thing has been working. Cam Lewis, Balen Spector, they stepped up and have played pretty well. Last game, not quite so much, but before that, they'd been really playing well. And a lot of the guys on the team didn't play that well last game. The Ravens took it to us. But anyway, I regress. On the Texans side of the ball, though, they've got some injuries too. Their starting left tackle, Tunzel, who you all probably remember from several years ago when he was drafted with the gas mask on, pictures that came out that day and why he fell in the draft. He's a really good tackle, although he does seem to make a lot of penalties and false starts. But he seems to be injured. I don't think he's going to play. And then Pierce and Mixon are their running backs, and both of them have been down the last few weeks, and I don't think either one of them are going to be able to play now. If Mixon has been trying to come back, and if he does play, that'd be huge for the Texans. And, they're going to need him. And, a lot have been said this week about Stephon Diggs being a revenge game and things, and Diggs probably does want to have a big game this week. I don't think there's as much hatred between the Bills and Diggs as that's made out to be. I think it was just a time thing to move on, just like it was with Minnesota when he came to Buffalo. And I think that Diggs was needed by Josh Allen at that time to become the quarterback that he is today. And now he needs more wide receivers and things than just one primary target. So it was just time to move on. So let's not make that big of a deal about that. And also, the bigger deal might be that Nico Collins is their best player or best receiver. So, he's got, I think, twice as many or more than twice as many receiving yards this year as Stephon Diggs. So we really have to worry about Nico Collins. But that gives them a nice combination of receivers. Their other receiver is down. And then Stroud, he's a good quarterback. I knew he would be coming into the draft. I said over and over again, I told people, Stroud is the best quarterback coming out of the draft. There were people that said Will Levis might be. And then there were other people that said Carolina had the best quarterback come out of the draft. You know, he's not even playing right now. Andy Dalton took his spot. So, yeah, Stroud's a baller, and he'll be hard to stop. He's mobile, he's accurate, and he's smart. So he will be even better and better quarterback as he gets more and more years under his belt. But I think he's already pretty good. And they're playing on his rookie contract is one of the reasons that makes the Texans as good as they are, because they don't have to pay their quarterback a lot of money yet. And then on the defensive line side for the Texans, they've got Anderson and the best defensive ends anyway in the NFL, in my opinion, the best duo of defensive ends. So they're going to really, really cause havoc on the Bills. Dawkins was hurt earlier this week. He had a hamstring pull, a hamstring injury during the last game. He played through it. He is going to try to play through it again this week. He says he's playing, but it doesn't help much when you're facing as good a defensive line. There are other Buffalo Bills players on the Texans. A couple of them are actually injured and will not play. Jerry Hughes being one of those. I'm not sure of his injury status, but we love Jerry Hughes, and always good to see former Buffalo Bills, but got to root against them for a couple of hours. Speaking of guys nice to see, one of my favorite players in the NFL, Tim Settle, the Penguin, always was such a great guy when he was with the Bills. He called us, my wife and I, his favorite fans. So, we always wish luck to Tim Settle, except for when he's playing the Bills. So the Bills are heading down to Texas, big game, and then next week we play the Jets. And hopefully the Jets will lose to the Vikings in the morning, so we'll still have a lead no matter what happens against Houston. To all the Houston Bills backers down there, let's go! I was lucky enough to go to a game last year, the Kansas City Chiefs-Bills game. I was in Houston and got to be with those Bills backers down there. They're a great group. I'm pretty sure a bunch of them are probably going to the game. And, I want to support those guys. So, with that, I think the Bills will squeak out a little one, although I'm hesitant to always make picks win-loss, especially when it's my team involved. But I think we might squeak out a win. But it's the injuries. And maybe by the start of the game, we'll really have more of a read on what those injuries will be. Another player with the Texans is Stingley. I think he's a really good corner. They have a couple of safeties that are pretty good, but, the weakness of the Texans is really that offensive line, and if Tunzel isn't able to play, that'll really stick out. But with that Oliver out and Von Miller being out with the suspension, so we need to have big games from Groot and Epinesa and the rest of the offensive line. And Daquan Jones needs to step up to play up that middle. We're even going to have a defensive tackle that joined our team on Monday from Atlanta that's going to be playing on the defensive line. That's how much we've got injuries. As Austin Johnson's even hurt. Elianku may even play. So, with that, let's see what happens on Sunday. Wish it was a primetime game. And remember, go Bills. And God loves you, and so do